Hello, my name is Hamza Salem, and this is the introduction video for the results page team. The team members are Saiovici, Jose Gonzalez, and myself, and the product owner is Dr. Masoud Sadjadi. BreezeHome is a real estate web application led by Dr. Masoud Sadjadi. BreezeHome gives the users the ability to rent, buy, and sell property. The goal of BreezeHome is to be designed in such a way that it is simple and intuitive for all users. Our project focused on the already existing results page. There are many contributions made by past developers, but at the end of the day, the results page offered an inconvenient and unintuitive experience for users. So the goal of our project was to fix these already existing issues and add new features that will make the results page more convenient and appealing to users. Here are the problems that our project focused on. The results page is buggy. For example, when viewing the properties in table view, the table is misaligned and some of the content is being blocked off. Also, on certain browsers, the map is not aligned in its correct pane and it blocks off other important content on the results page. Instead of the property image being displayed, there is a stock placeholder image. There is no feature on the results page that allows users to export the results listing to be analyzed by third-party systems. The user isn't given helpful feedback when they enter a query that yields no results. The results page does not provide multiple view preferences. And lastly, the current simple filtering interface doesn't work as intended, and the sophisticated filtering system is presented to all users instead of being just an option for the users that need it. So now we can look at some screenshots for the current system of BreezeHome. Here you can see that a user entered a query that yielded no results, but instead of being given appropriate feedback or feedback that will help them enter a query that will yield results, they are just given 0 results found, which can be confusing and unintuitive. Here you can see that we have the results listing and card views, but you can see that the attributes for the cards aren't displayed neatly. They're confusing. It's not easy to distinguish between the different attributes. Here we have the table view for the results listing. You can clearly see that it's misaligned and the content is being blocked off. Here we have the filtering interface, the issue here was that when a user entered some search item into the search bar and press enter, the filtering interface will appear every single time, and the user will have to click the filtering interface away to see the actual result listing, which of course can be annoying. And here we have the sophisticated filtering interface. This was presented to all users whenever they wanted to filter the results listing, which of course most users won't need all of this different features. They probably just want to filter by price, maybe bedrooms, bathrooms, and so on. So our goal was to give the user just a simple filtering interface, and if they wanted the more sophisticated one, they have the option for that as well. Here are the requirements we have defined for our project. The table view must be aligned and none of its contents being blocked off. Also, all properties should be clickable and sortable. Each of the property listings should display its data clearly and with an image of the property if available. Add a feature to allow users to export the property listings as a TSV file that preserves filtering and sorting criteria. Provide user with helpful feedback and suggestions whenever their query yields no results. Add a feature that will allow the user to expand, hide, or show the map. And lastly, add a feature that will allow the simple filtering interface to be present to guests and registered users, and agents and admins will be presented with a sophisticated filtering interface. And for implementation, for front end, we used AngularJS, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and JavaScript. For back end, we used the Django and Python. Database, we used Postgres SQL and PGAdmin3. For version control, we use Git, and lastly, for the operating system, we use Linux and Mac OS. So now that we have addressed the problems, I will demo the contributions each team member made to address these issues. So here's the BreezeHome production site. Note that I am briefly going to go over and demo the main contributions made by each developer. If you want a more in-depth analysis of a user story, you can watch the user story video made by that developer. Simply search for the user story number in the YouTube channel to find that video. So first, we'll go over the contributions made by Saiovici. First user story we can look at is 2807 fixed list by attribute. So as mentioned before, the table view was misaligned and some of the content was being blocked off. So now if we go to the BreezeHome results page, and we'll be displayed some properties. We can go to table view and you can see that it's correctly aligned and none of the columns being blocked off. You can scroll and scroll to the right to see the rest of the columns. Next user story will be user story number 2808, list property images. So beforehand, every property was just presented with a stock placeholder image. But now, if a property does have an image present, then the image will be displayed with that property, as you can see here for that thumbnail. And you can see these properties, and then this property here doesn't have an image, so just a placeholder image. And if it does have an image, then the property listing image will just be displayed with it. Next user story be user story number 2810, enhanced property listing attributes display. Now we can go to the card view here, and you can see that now the card view attributes are displayed neatly and can be easily distinguishable than beforehand. So you can see the price easily, the bed count, the bathroom count, the square footage, and the address. And if we can go down here to one property that actually has the bed count displayed, as you can see here, for 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and so on. So it's much neater now, and the user can easily distinguish between the attributes. And lastly, for the last user story, we can go to user story number 28 to 12, export results as TSV. It's giving the user an ability to download the property listings as a TSV to be analyzed by some third-party software. So as we can click this download TSV button, and we can download the results listing with as a TSV. You can see it here. So if you get a better software, the property listing will be neatly aligned, but you can see that it still downloads as TSV, and you can see the result listings and whatnot. So the first defect we'll go through, defect number 3937, fixes 0 properties found when loading properties. So on the Breeze Home landing page, if you beforehand, if you went to or browse all properties near Miami, Florida, you'll be presented with a 0 properties found. Then eventually, when the properties were loaded in, the 0 properties found will disappear, and it will say like 100 properties found, and so on. Now instead, if you go to or browse all properties near Miami, Florida, you will get a loading message, and then all the properties will be displayed, as you can see in a moment. It says loading, and now let's say 100 results found. And the next defect is defect number 3936, errors on results page. Beforehand, when you went to the developer tools, you'll be presented with a whole bunch of errors, and Abraham went through all those errors and fixed them. I'm going to go through here. And lastly is defect number 3762, detailed page previous next property does not work. So beforehand, if you clicked on the results on a property, it'll go to the details page, and these previous properties and next property links wouldn't do anything. But now if you go to the next property, you'll display the next property in that result listing. And eventually, once you get to the last property, it will circle back to the first property. And if we just searched for in such a URL for that result, and it wasn't clicked on through a result listing, you can notice that the next property and previous property links aren't there, since this result or this property didn't come from the result listing. So that will do for all of Abe's user story and defect contributions. And again, if you want to go into more detail for any of those user story and defects, you can go to his videos. Okay, so now we can go over the contributions that I made. So for user story number 2823, the goal here was just to add the placeholder text onto the search bar for the landing page. So for at that time, for certain browsers, the placeholder text wasn't appearing. So I fixed that, and for every browser, when you go to the landing page, it should be displayed this placeholder text. Next user story number 2824, implements error handling. So as mentioned before, whenever a user searched for a query that yielded no result, they are presented just a message saying 0 results found, which is unintuitive and unhelpful. So now when a user enters a query that yields no results, you can see that they're given helpful feedback and suggestions. So enter this query, for example. They're told right now that Breeze Home was trying to retrieve the results for what they entered, and now they're presented with feedback saying that they cannot find, the Breeze Home cannot find any properties for what they entered, and they're given examples and suggestions that will help them enter a query that will return a result next time. Next user story is user story number 3322, change language for error view. So the whole goal here is, since Breeze Home is offered in English and Spanish, the error feedback should also be offered in Spanish too, so that users that are more comfortable with Spanish can get the most out of the feedback. So here we can translate the language, and there's the error feedback in Spanish. Next user story is user story number 33. User story number 3320, fixed map alignment for certain browsers, example Firefox. So right now here we're on Firefox. Beforehand, the map was not aligned in the correct pane, and it will go out of the pane and block other content from, example, the result listings and the filtering interface and so on. But now here you can see that the map is correctly aligned. It's not blocking any content. It's where it's supposed to be. So next user story number 2828, show hide map. So since Breeze Home in its current system, before we start working on the project, they have multiple view preferences that the user can choose from on the results page. I added this feature that will allow users to hide the map if they do not care too much for the map. No, they want to see the results. All they want to see is the property listing, or to expand the map, they want to see more of the map, or to have this default view where the map takes up half the page and the results take up the other half of the page. So now we can enter a query. This is Miami. It says in loading. Turn it back to English, and so now the results were found, and we can hide the map. So now all the result listings, only the result listings appears, and you can see more results per row. You can go back to the default view. You can expand the map. So now the user can see more of the map, but now they're limited to just one property per row, and you can go back to less map and show the default view. So that's it for the user stories that I completed during this project. Next will be the defects. So the first defect is add autocomplete to results page. So beforehand there was no autocomplete to the results page, but now if you search for, if you start typing, you'll be presented some helpful suggestions in the search bar. Next defect was defect number 3799, results page buttons overlap. So beforehand, once you hide the map, the show map, the download CSV, and the sort button will all be overlapping, and only one of them will be clickable. I think it was the download CSV button. But now you can see that they're all correctly aligned next to each other, and they're all clickable. And the last defect will be defect number 3799, or I mean defect number 4037. Translate to TSV button appears even if no results were retrieved, and appears when the results are loading. So now you can see that download CSV button appears when there are result listings. But for example, when we go to search for something, let's search for something that will give us no results. You can see that it doesn't show. And we can just show a map here. And then once the error feedback comes back, you can still see that download CSV doesn't show as it shouldn't, since there was no result listings found. And that will do for all my contributions made through this project. So we have the contributions made by Jose Gonzalez. First, we'll go over user story number 2845, configure results page for different users. For this, we'll need to be on the Breeze Home production side as a guest and as an admin. So here we can go to the admin page. We can go to the results page config. And with this toggled on, then the simple filtering interface will appear for registered users and guests, as you can see on the results page here. So here's a simple filter interface. And with this toggled off, you can now see that there's only the sophisticated filtering interface right here. So the next user story is user story number 2833, simple filtering interface. So let's toggle this back on to get the simple filtering interface for the guest user. So we can enter Miami in the search bar. We can select a price range from 10K to 150K, for example. And we can press apply. You can see that it's now filtered. The results are now filtered from 10 to 150K. Then you're looking for that, and yeah, that's a simple filtering interface in action. Next, we'll have the defects that Jose worked on. First, we have defect number 3768, landing page simple filtering. So we can come to the landing page, enter Miami, for example, and we can select a price range of 150 to 200K. We search for that. Now we're back onto the results page, and we're loaded with all the properties near Miami from a range of 150K to 200K. We do that from the landing page. Those were the contributions made by Jose. That wraps up the introduction video for the results page team. Here's the contact information for the developers of the team, and here's the contact information for product owner Dr. Masoud Sadjadi. Thank you for watching.